starving real sector of credit MPC official. That's on page 25. 2026 Guba election. Don't sell your PVCs. Oyebanji declares. Has it gotten this bad? Don't sell your PVCs, Oyebanji declares. Moving on, alleged 8.83 trillion naira in unbudgeted expenditure report false. Misleading Oyedele. Yes, this is actually one of the stories we're going to look at for Business Corner. But thankfully, we got a response, I think, late last night from the Minister of Finance on this story. And it says Tinubu must resign, says Peter Obi. Expert task federal government on transparency. And that's why the minister had to respond to that. Finally, from Daily Sun, Nigeria, 8 others account for 83% of global gas flaring, worth $54 billion, says World Bank. All of that just in the air. So annoying. Seplat ends gas flaring in its onshore operations, begins LPG production. All right, that's a good one. Moving to New Telegraph. New Telegraph says U.S. To monitor Nigeria's 2027 polls, warns of tougher ties over rights. Lawyers back NDC's appeal against ruling overturning registration. 2026 Google polls, don't sell your PVCs. Oyebanji appeals to voters. The question is, why are they even trying to sell their PVCs? Maybe if we know why, right? It won't be a case of begging, it will be a case of fixing the issue. But we know it, right? Well, all of this you'll find on pages 4, 7, 14, and 16 of New Telegraph. More stories coming through. Insecurity. Zamfara won't negotiate with bandits, says Lawal. Well, it's a good stand. I hope you keep to it and also keep your people safe. Government denies Atiku's 8 trillion naira shadow budget claim. Insists all spending followed due process. National security, NIS repatriated 567 foreign nationals, rescued 563 trafficked victims in 5 months. That's a great one. And also, you must have seen the burial photos around Supreme Leader absent as senior officials attend Ayatollah's funeral. Well, okay. Xenophobia. Federal government slams South African minister over call to identify Nigerians' drug dens. Federal government slams South African minister over call to identify Nigerians' drug dens. Still with that story, you see, says such derogatory, uncensored statements hate speech. And 2 more Nigerians killed in Rainbow Nation. Still on that story, you'd also see that the minister has been talking tough the last couple of days, saying that sanctions would hit South Africa over the death of these 2 Nigerians recorded recently. I think one was killed in front of his shop. The other, can't remember now, but that story was quite gory and very unfortunate. We just hope, and we really hope, that citizens in South Africa are kept safe, and those who really want to return should return. Well, still with New Telegraph, Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Obasanjo, Babangida, top list of Nigerians who will shape election. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Obasanjo, Babangida, top list of Nigerians who will shape election. Well, do whatever you wish with that story. Misuse of contraceptives can lead to menstrual irregularities. Well, this is coming from experts. Let's take a look at the top of New Telegraph and the last one from New Telegraph. Power completed mini grids boost Nigeria's food security. Vanguard is up next. It's 8:39. Clean Beats 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity. The round table is live. 8:30 a.m. Weekdays, we're here. Vanguard says how SGF's office cleared Adeyemi for Canada Summit. God. In fact, it's going to be a very interesting week. Very interesting one. Well, still with that story, still on the PFIPC controversy. Troubling pattern of scandals now too frequent, says Atiku. Presidency can't escape accountability over Gbajabiamila's claim, says PDP. Serap asked Akpabio Abbas to explain 1.3 billion naira allocation to fictitious PFIPC. All of this on page 5. My goodness, it's a lot. Ha! I hope Nigerians can really digest this one, and we can actually see an end to it, hopefully. And there's a photograph here of a Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Abiodun Yebanji, and Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health and Human Services, Mrs. Olushola, interacting with the freed Eda Onio kidnapped victims during the governor's visit at Ekiti State University. These kids look pale. Lord, we ask for safety, always. Still with Vanguard this morning, federal government denies spending 8 trillion outside budget. Zamfara won't negotiate with terrorists. Governor Lawal stay here. Oyo school abduction rescue operation ongoing. Okay. All right. U.S. to closely monitor 2027 polls. Congressman Riley Moore speaks. Xenophobia. Federal government condemns killing of 2 Nigerians, demands justice. NDLEA intercepts Malaysia-bound cocaine. NABS PhD students mastermind. You think with that level of education, people shouldn't be involved in crime? Well, every time NDLEA does this, you realize that people always find a new way to do this or carry out these criminal activities. But well done to the agency. They're helping us to safeguard our future. 2027 polls, parties rush to meet INEC's uploading deadline. Well, that's it from Vanguard. Let's take a look at The Guardian, the roundtable with Itohan, Clean Beats 91.5 FM Abuja. You want to say hello or at least tell us exactly what you're reacting to this morning. WhatsApp is 0903005915. Someone just says, good morning. You didn't put your name, but good morning to you as well. The Guardian says U.S. IPO drive tests Nigerian fintechs, governance, compliance, strength on page 6. U.S. pledges close scrutiny of 2027 polls amid CPC designation. Still lingering here, 8.8 trillion naira off budget. Atiku Huriwa seeks probe as Obi demands Tinubu's resignation. Report alleging 500 billion naira offer to split South-South votes falls baseless. And also, still with The Guardian, let's fuel prices reflect present market realities. Me, I'm tired. I'm tired of shouting or saying this thing over and over again. Right? I'm supposed to buy fuel today, and my heart is pumping fast because I know I'm about to spend a lot of money. Can these guys just help us, please? It's a lot, I beg. Let fuel prices reflect present market realities. Nigerians just want to be happy, right? I know. Rep urges suspension of NYC reforms for wider consultations, especially when you have to backtrack after saying Adire. Trust me, it will do you a lot of good for further consultations, so you don't have to backtrack again. All right, away from that, PFIPC pressure mounts for independent probe answers. 2 men in the eye of the storm. I know. Chief of Army Staff assures ongoing operation to rescue Oyo abductees. Rescue them already, right? That's what we need. Safe and sound. That's all we're calling for. Oil major spill at 125,000 barrels pollute Niger Delta. Lawmaker calls for calm as fresh Taraba attack claims 3 persons. That's the reason, page 8 of The Guardian. And finally, federal government condemns killing of 2 Nigerians in South Africa, 1 in Cote d'Ivoire, at the souls of the faithfully departed. Rest in peace. Quite unfortunate. It's 8:44. Before we go on the break, let's quickly look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch says leads with 2027 candidates. Saturday deadline puts parties under pressure. Parties rush to submit presidential, National Assembly nominees ahead of INEC's Saturday deadline. APC uploads Kwara, Yobe, Imo governors, Senate nomination forms. PDP submits nomination forms for over 200 candidates. Really? Wow, that's nice. ICPC recovers 5.8 billion naira cash in 6 months. On page 8, federal government secures 11.4 billion naira World Bank loans in 3 years. On page 45, I think this is coming from the Ministry of, or rather, the Minister of Finance. Dangote beats U.S. ships 757 billion naira jet fuel to Europe. This according to a report. That's nice. Dangote beats US. That's a good one. Ships 757 billion naira jet fuel to Europe. Nice. And not so interesting story. Robbers kill Ondo technician defending family. My God. Anywhere you just turn, you just, God have mercy. It is well. Chief of Army Staff citizens key to winning security war. We know that, but we're also demanding that we be protected. A few more stories from the point. Discos recover over 2 trillion naira from customers amid high electricity theft. Now, I'm against electricity theft. I am against it. Pay for what you use, which is important because discos need to earn, what they deserve. I understand that it's quite high, especially if you're living under the band A areas. Can be really frustrating, and also when you do not have the electricity to match up with that, can be frustrating. But bypassing, succumbing to illegal activities with electricity is totally wrong. I do not support that. Companies unable to recover 668.76 billion naira in customer bills. You see that? That's what bypassing does. Stealing, that's what it does. Still with the point, 2027 polls stop politicians from spending beyond limits. Stakeholders urge INEC, EFCC, ICPC. Okay. How do they do that? We're waiting. Well, since they're urged to do that, we'll see how that goes. Gbajabiamila asks to step aside pending probe of 1.3 billion naira allocation to fake presidential council. And also for the economy, IMF report, federal government denies alleged 8 trillion naira budget cover-up, says all federal government spending lawful. 3 years after federal government CNG policy, Nigerians yet to enjoy cheaper fares. That's true. Still very expensive. And also, you notice that some areas you get to see a lot of queues, and then you ask what's going on because I know fuel is readily available, and they tell you, it's CNG. And I'm like, wow. Anyway, these are the stories we're tracking at this time on the newspaper segment of the Roundtable. Quickly, let me put out this information before we go on a quick break, and our guests will be waiting for us. This is a press release coming from INEC on the extension of continuous voter registration, that's a CVR, and introduction of self-service registration for first-time voters. Now, it's good news because this extension will enable first-time voters, further time to register. So the Independent National Electoral Commission has put out this statement following a review of the ongoing nationwide continuous voter registration exercise and feedback received from state officers. Now, they want to inform you that the extension underscores the Commission's commitment to ensuring every eligible Nigerian has fair, reasonable opportunity to be included in the register. All right, so it was supposed to end, it started on the 18th of August 2025, that was last year, and was scheduled to be concluded by the 10th of July 2026. Now, in order to provide additional opportunity for eligible citizens who are yet to register, the Commission has extended the exercise to Friday, 24th July 2026. So tell everyone this deadline ends 24th July 2026, no longer 10th July 2026. That's a new date, 24th. Well, also in furtherance of its commitment to innovation, improved service delivery, it is also pleased to announce to us that the introduction of a self-service registration option for eligible first-time voters is now available. The new service will be available this Wednesday. Today is the 6th of July, right? So this Wednesday, which is the 8th of July, the new service will be available through the Commission's dedicated CVR portal. That's cvr.inecnigeria.org. That's cvr.inecnigeria.org, where the step-by-step guide is also provided. So watch out for it. Now, this self-service option will enable eligible citizens to initiate and complete their voter registration process, include biometric capture using their personal devices without having to physically visit an INEC office. So that's the update. It's a good one. So no fear, you still have till the 24th of July for registration, and you can do that from the comfort of your home with your device. That's interesting. Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity. The round table with Itoha continues right after the break. Stay with us. Good morning.
Do you know the NDLEA offers certified drug testing services?
Need a drug integrity test or visa clearance certificate?
For employment, visa processing to Thailand, Malaysia, or India, school admission, court use, or just peace of mind.
Good news, you can do it all from the comfort of your home.
Just log on to drugandvisa.ndlea.gov.ng.
Create your account, pick a test date, choose your location,
and get your certificate fast, safe, and verified.
No agents, no queues, no paperwork.
Apply direct, get your clearance, travel free. This message is from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA.
ọgwụ ike na-eme na ndụ ndị ntorobịa ajọka ma na-eme ngwa ngwa emeghara ọdachi. Biko nụ ka anyị jikọ aka were gbochie ọnọdụ a maka na asị na anyụkọ mamịrị ọnụ ya agba ụfụfụ.
Ọ bụ ndị National Drug Law Enforcement Agency wetara unu ozi a.
Banana bastard. Akimu Damado. Mary Jane, no. Mary Jane, no. They can leave you before you kill me. Better solution, codeine, brown sugar, they can leave you before you kill me. I don't want to ever left, ever left, it can leave you before you kill me. My mama run me over. She said, make her leave you before you kill me. Banana bastard, Mary Jane, no. Make her leave you before you kill me.
I am Brigadier General Mohammed Bouba Marwa, retired, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. To my young people, Your talent is greater than drugs. Protect your future. Stay drug-free. Keep flexing with Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja.
Still the roundtable with Itohai's 8:54, and welcome to the Business Corner. This is the side where we look at the economy, we look at forex, we look at everything as it concerns, business for the week. Some past stories, and then we just review and see how the new week goes. All right, welcome. It's at this point we get to bring in our guest who is joining us from Lagos this morning. My name is Itohan, by the way. All right, Kike Lomo Owoyale. I had to give space to this name so I don't moderate today. It's a chartered accountant and ecosystem building, also advancing access to capital for African founders. She is founder and CEO of She Foundry Limited and managing director of Moneysia Partners, driving investment and venture support across the continent. She currently serves as the 54th president of JCI Lagos Metropolitan, a seasoned speaker and facilitator. Her work spans startup finance, capital raising, and leadership development. Hello, Kike. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ito.
It's good to have you. I hope you're not under the water, because we hear that it's, some areas are flooded. How are you coping?
Nah. It didn't get to the mainland, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're good. Absolutely. Welcome. All right, we'll begin with this story. It's been a busy weekend. Speaking about the reaction of the Minister of Finance to this 8.8 trillion naira out of budget spending. It all started with controversies from IMF. That's what they said. But it feels like some persons saw it as controversy, other persons saw it as a report, that should be looked into. The IMF's resident representative in Nigeria last week disclosed that the federal government engaged in extra budgetary spending equivalent to 2% of the nation's gross domestic product. Well, the Minister of Finance has come out to say that is misleading and it never happened. But what do you think of this?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mitoro, for the invite. We'll be starting with this particular, extra budgetary expense, right?
Yes.
And I'm taking it from the accounting lens, which is what's it called? In the normal, business sectors. Now, when you create a budget, most times you either exceed your budget or you you spend below your budget,
Okay.
meaning that there's always a variance. And that's why in accounting, we always have the room for a variance analysis. Now, what the Minister of Finance is saying that, okay, we've seen this report happen, but then there might be an explanation for it. It's that explanation, honestly, that we are looking out for, right? Because in every organization, even when I worked in the public sector, it happens that there are lots of things that actually influence overspending, right? There's inflation, there are things that might not have been accounted for and all of that. But then it brings up the question, why exactly are we spending 2% of the national gross domestic, GDP? On extra budgetary spending, meaning that the actual reality is that this 8.8 trillion naira is actually a lot of money, right? And then it has not gone through the legislative arm of the government, meaning that the necessary approval that should have been gotten by the lawmakers were not gotten on this budget. So honestly, I am looking forward to the Minister of Finance explanation on that particular 8.8 trillion naira. So yeah.
Okay. Do you also in your line of study or in your field, is it okay to have different budgets running concurrently? Because we get to hear that a lot in this country.
Okay, so by different budgets, what do you mean?
Okay, what I mean is, for example, supplementary budget is running concurrently with the, 2026. Well, maybe the supplementary budget will run with the current budget, and we get to hear that a lot. And is that okay?
Mm. I I don't think I have a straightforward answer now because I have not worked with that, how do I put it, with that level of government before.
Okay.
Where I worked was with a Lagos State, is it MDA, yeah, Ministry
Okay,
Department
an
Agency, right?
agency.
But not on the national, yeah, not on the national level. But most times, actually, when you enter into a new year, some of the budget from the last year might actually still be running.
Still be
But then I
running.
can't give a definite answer on that. Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. Well, moving to the issue of Dangote refineries, with cuts here and there, but still citizens do not think that it's significant enough. It's not showing in our everyday lives. The amount of fuel per liter is still extravagant. We know that when it comes to jet fuel, we're not even talking about that because those who fly by air are still complaining. But with the current realities of crude oil, shouldn't it have reflected with the cost of fuel per liter in the markets? Because that's how we think it's supposed to be. But it feels like the marketers have refused to effect this change. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, okay. So on the fuel prices, honestly, just like the masses would say, me, I'm always on the side of the masses because yes, that's
Yes.
our that's our everyday reality. I'm also a citizen of Nigeria, right? And we all experience all of these things. So yes, honestly, this should have been reflective in the prices, but we know how these things are, especially when it comes to making extravagant profits on things like this without caring about the effect on the masses. But hopefully, we hope that what's it called, our government would be able to ensure that these prices reflect so that it can, onboarding some of the things that we are experiencing today. High cost of food. We still went to the market recently, and the cost of food was choking, right? So we need these prices to actually reflect so that transportation costs can go down, which would then have a ripple effect on every other thing, especially when it comes to production and so many other things here.
So it's some
Production,
it's
distribution.
something it's
Yeah,
something that you think the government can put its foot down and insist that the prices should drop.
exactly, exactly. This is where government intervention actually comes in because those are the people they would honestly listen to, not
Oh,
just the masses.
not just the masses. All right, Kike, still talking about some of the issues here. Let's move to CBN revokes licenses of 46 microfinance banks. That was a huge story last week. How did you react to it?
So honestly, when I saw this particular article, I was what's the word now? I was shocked. Yeah, shock is the actual word because 46 is a lot of numbers, meaning that, and I had to, deep dive into the article. I saw it everywhere on my WhatsApp status, and then I had to go and do a deep dive. And them revoking it was not just based on whims, right? There are actual reasons and evidences which what's it called, influenced their decision. So based on what I saw that some have not even been operating
That's right.
for a while now. Some don't even have the sufficient asset to meet their liabilities, and these are huge problems that what's it called, that could actually affect the economy. Because what's the essence of these microfinance banks if they're actually not performing their functions? Because they are actually meant to focus on, the nano SME businesses and power the economy. That's the essence of having what's it called, these banks being given license, right, by the CBN. And I love that this is happening because this would now mean that they would actually double down on ensuring that they are able to meet up with the necessary requirements, and then hopefully their license would be given back. I'm sure that there should be a process around that.
Okay, but this also underscores some form of good reform from the CBN and also putting its foot down with the protection of citizens as it concerns financing and businesses in the country. You agree, right?
Exactly. Yes, I do agree.
All right, the roundtable is here. Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity. And we have Kike Lomo joining us from Lagos to review some large business news from the week, and also as we begin a brand new week. Well, this story got everyone really excited, especially for the mining industry, as the president inaugurated lithium plant in Nasarawa and also favors local mineral processing. But Kike, with this that is happening, which is a good thing, many experts still say that Nigeria doesn't know its reserves, its natural resources reserves. And with that, it is difficult to get investors into the country if you do not even know how much you have. How do you react to that?
All right, this is actually a tough one for me, honestly, because these are conversations that we keep on having in the country. Nigeria, like other, African countries in the continent, have a whole lot of resources. We're actually blessed, but the management of these resources leaves room to a lot of questions, right? And it's actually unsettling that a nation as huge as us, we call ourselves the giants of Africa. But when it comes to our resources, the management, the operations, we actually don't have a strong hold on that. This is actually what's it called, a very good development, right? Especially with the lithium plant in Nasarawa. My own concern is regarding what's it called now, the management of that plant. I hope that it would not be the same case of other plants that we've experienced and then nothing is happening, right? I hope that this would be properly managed by whatever whatever structure that have been placed in that particular plant. That's one. Now, two, regarding the consultant and other people you've mentioned that stating that we do not even know our reserve. I think these are conversations that we need to start having so that we are able to properly monitor exactly what we're producing in the country, and that way we know what is going to who. So I think that's my own contribution. This is a very great development, having a lithium plant in Nasarawa. However, let us ensure that we have a strong hold, especially on what we are producing in the country. Yeah.
All right. Well, just to add to that, the facility located in Endo community, Nasarawa local government area, has a daily processing capacity of 6,000 metric tons and an annual capacity of 3 million metric tons. And this is huge for the country. So quoting, the president, represented by vice president, he says, natural resources may be a blessing, but only vision can turn them into wealth, and only institutions can protect that wealth, which is very important, like Kike has been talking about. Well, still the roundtable, 7 minutes past 9 o'clock. Still talking about huge investment and also national development. The Nigerian government launches e-cooking initiative to accelerate clean energy, where the federal government inaugurated a national initiative to integrate electric cooking in Nigeria's clean cooking policy, aiming to attract investment, expand access to clean energy, reduce dependence on firewood and other polluting cooking fuels. Kike Loma, please react to this quickly. What do you think about it? It's a good one, but do we have enough money to pay for electricity in this country? Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I like the question you asked, which is, do we have enough money to pay for electricity? But there's another angle. We'll still get to that, right?
Yeah.
But there's another angle. Do we even supply enough electricity for people to be able to depend on this e-cooking? We've seen in recent times that power supply in Nigeria has actually been abysmal, right? I think that's the word I would use. I don't want to say fortunately for me, because every other person is going through it, right? My own area, we've been having stable power supply, but anytime I go online, anytime I hear people, it's always the same complaint. I actually have an uncle that said he doesn't have lights for maybe 1 week straight, and this is actually
the reality of a lot of
very
Nigerians.
sad. What did you say?
I said it's the reality of a lot of Nigerians.
Yes, and this is actually very sad and discouraging, especially for the kind of development that we aim for as a nation. Now, let's now get into this e-cooking, right? This is actually a very impressive one, but just like you said, have we actually considered? So, whenever we want to innovate, innovation should be based on infrastructure. Innovation should be based on structures that are already in place. So, if you have the necessary infrastructure powering this kind of innovation, that the innovation would actually have a whole lot of effects, influence on people. So have we even there's something called the five whys, right? Keep on asking the why till you get to the root cause of the problem, right? So have we even considered how we are able to ensure that this infrastructure is actually strong enough to power the innovation, which is actually tackling the electricity problem we have? So like we'd always say, these are very laudable, initiative by the government. But whenever we're making innovation, let's also ensure that we are also deep diving into the infrastructures that would power it. But however, that being said, yes, this is a laudable one, being able to, have electric cooking. And I want to assume, I don't know if it is just me, that we've always had electric cooking. I don't know if this is actually a bit different from what's it called? What we have in the time past.
Yeah,
So,
you're
if you
actually
want to
correct.
respond to that.
Yeah, you're actually correct because we already have something like Nigeria's energy transition plan. It's been there, which targets net zero emissions by 2060 while expanding access to electricity. We've also had different implementation plans. Nigeria's nationally determined contribution is also there. But again, the issue here will be, okay, this is what we want to do in the next couple of years. We want to phase out gas flaring. I'm sorry, not gas flaring. I want to fade out issues with unsafe cooking habits, firewood, like they mentioned. But this initiative looks like it will integrate electric cooking into Nigeria's clean cooking policy. So that's the policy we're looking
Okay.
at. And this will also help to
Okay.
attract investment, expand access to
Mhm,
clean energy, and all of those.
Yeah. All right. I'm actually going through the article now, and it's stating that this would now make use of grid connected, mini grid solar, and
Yes,
other
solar.
renewable energy
Exactly.
systems for cooking.
Exactly.
Okay, so that sounds really nice then. Yeah.
Yeah, but it also means a very huge investment for us. That's even on the part of the citizens, because if you don't, the cost of fixing solar in your house is a lot, especially when you have to put in something that has to do with cooking, anything that draws energy like that, cooking, using ions and the rest. It's a lot. So it means that you must invest heavily to make use of it. But hopefully, over time, it's something we'll be able to afford.
Yeah. Hopefully over time.
Hopefully over time. All right, moving to the next story. Kike Lomo, it looks like palm oil producers bet billions on Nigeria's edible oil deficit. Looks like the likes of Presco PLC and Okomu Oil PLC, are smiling to the banks, which they recently posted a combined profit of 72.86 billion naira in the first quarter of 2026 compared to 69.32 billion naira. My God. Are you sure I won't start selling palm oil
Oh
at
my
this point?
goodness. Yeah, we'll start together. We'll be co-founders.
But what does this sector look like? Because we're not even meeting the needs of Nigerians. Aside this guy smiling to the bank, we still have a deficit that allows for citizens to import oil from other countries. So how do we bridge the gap and encourage local production?
Yeah, so I've actually not been able to, go through this particular article. I don't know if you'd like to, what's it called? Share some resources with me regarding this particular article.
Okay, maybe we'll do that later, but let's move on to this
Okay.
story. Moving on to
All right.
BOI unveils development impact report. Disburses 644.9 billion naira to support 1.68 million jobs. Well, just to delve into the story, it also says that the BOI has launched an inaugural edition of its annual development impact report, marking a major milestone in the institution's evolution from measuring success by the volume of loans disbursed to assessing the tangible socio-economic impact of its interventions. Now, according to him, this strategy repositioned BOI to prioritize measurable development outcomes alongside financial performance. Now, they also disclosed that the bank disbursed a total of 644.9 billion to nano, micro, small, medium, large enterprises across Nigeria during the year under review. So it looks like small and medium enterprises will be smiling to the bank. What do you think about that?
Yes, honestly, for me, I would like to, congratulate all the businesses that have been, been beneficiary of BOI. And also, I'd also like to say that outstanding performance by the Bank of Industry as they surpassed the results from 2025.
Yeah.
And, I'm into the capital advisory space. So I know a lot of clients that have actually benefited from BOI and also the initiative. So yes, this is a laudable one, being able to our SMEs, as they are actually the backbone of our economy in Nigeria. There's no city you'd go to that you won't find the nano, small, medium business. So yes, this is actually a laudable one, and one that would have high impact on the economy.
Now, you talked about high impact on the economy. When do we start to notice it? Because most people still insist, even after getting or having access these loans, still insist that the economy isn't getting better, that pressure is not easy enough. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so the honest truth is there are lots of okay, just pardon me, pardon my laughter, right?
Okay.
So there are lots of what's the analogy I can use now? But there are lots of parts, right, in play, especially when it comes to an huge economy like Nigeria. So it's not just going to be one initiative or two initiatives that would actually be what's it called, show the results that we're actually aiming for. So whatever BOI is doing, definitely it's going to show its impact on the businesses that they funded, and they definitely have a ripple effect. But we also have other parts in play. We've had several conversations here today. We've spoken about the lithium plant. We've also spoken about other things on this particular conversation here today. So, like I said, we have a whole lot of moving parts. We have the part of the government. Let's have less corruption. Let's have more intentionality with governing the people, and also, being judicious with whatever spending that they are doing in the in the National Assembly and all of that. And then we also have the parts that we as citizens need to play, especially those of us that are into, very critical parts of the economy, like the transportation. We've spoken on the transportation as well, and so many other things. So we might not see the effect immediately, but if everybody is doing their jobs right, then we'll see the the collective results showing. Yeah.
All right, it's 9:17. We still have Kike Lomo with us on the round table for Business Corner. Kike, before I let you go, how's the Naira doing this morning, especially where we saw it climb last week? According to data published by Central Bank of Nigeria, showed that Naira appreciated by 10.74 Naira week on week, with the dollar quoted at 1,370.19 Naira on Friday at the Nigerian foreign exchange market, compared to 1,380.93 on Friday last week, representing a 0.78% gain. In the parallel markets, also known as black market, the Naira closed at 1,400, weakening by 3 Naira from the opening of 1,397. So just give us a general overview. How's the Naira doing?
Yeah, I think you've already stated it yourself. The naira, based on the difference between, the just the 1 week difference, is actually doing better. We hope that that would stabilize and they would have more of it appreciating because, like I would always say, there was a time that naira to dollar was just about 700 naira or 400 or something there. So we hope to get back to that time, but we know that
Okay.
it might not happen. It might not happen this year or next year. But yes, Naira is actually appreciating based on recent times. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyway, aside business, do you follow football and who are you rooting for in the World Cup?
Not at all. Not at all. So I don't follow football.
All right. I just wanted
That's
to
great.
try if we
Yes.
could banter on that as well. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you, Kike Lomo Owo Yale. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Take
All
care.
right, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity, is 9:19. And that's where we terminate this one. Just to remind you that Kike Lomo is a chartered accountant and ecosystem builder, advancing access to capital for African founders. She is founder and CEO of She Founder Limited and managing director at Money's Your Partners, driving investment and venture support across the continent, and currently serves as the 54th president of JCI Lagos Metropolitan. Always a pleasure to have Kike. You can't drive Kike to say something she doesn't want to say. If she's not comfortable about it, she will tell you, "Don't worry, don't worry. Let's talk about it later." And that's the kind of advice or people like that you love to give you advice as it concerns finance, business, investment, and all of those. But that's Business Corner this morning on the round table. Hope you had a lot of fun. Someone sent in a message and says, "Good morning. How much will it cost to have access to NatComSAV FTA?" Maybe we'll get back to you on that. Okay, I think this conversation came from either Friday or Thursday's conversation on the round table, but we'll get back to you. If you're a football lover and you love Erling Haaland like I do, I'm rooting for him for Golden Boot. But anyway, he's teasing Messi, saying that, hey, you're not getting it with Messi already with 7. Oh my God. Helen Holland, don't worry. We got this one. But that's the roundtable this morning. My name is Itso Han. Remember, roundtable comes up weekdays, Monday through Fridays. Join us then. Remember, Clean Slate from 10 with Henny and Ife right after the news. Stay with us. Good morning. Still Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja, where music meets clarity.
An overdose of jams from us? Totally safe. Those pills? Not so much. Clean Beat 91.5 FM Abuja.
Spinning up the music you love.
Spinning up the music you love. Clean Beat 91.5 FM.